All right, guys, let us start today's session. So myself is Pavan. So I'm going to be your trainer for manual testing as well as automation testing. Okay, and today it is going to be introduction part. So I just going to show you what is the content we are going to learn as part of the course and what are the instructions we need to follow. So I'm just going to show you today. And also I'm just going to give you some basic introduction about software testing, like manual testing and different types of testings and all. And I will also talk about little bit about automation testing. All right, and then we'll proceed further. So throughout the session, so you will be muted. If you have any queries or anything, you can just use chat window to post your queries. Okay, or if you want to talk anything at the end of the video or at the end of the session, I can just unmute you and you guys can speak out. All right, so let us start. uh, so today's session, is going to be like this is a full stack QA automation course. Let me just type some notes. I just going to provide some of the instructions you guys should follow. So full stack QA. So full stack QA. So what is meant by full stack QA? So suppose if you are a completely beginner and if you don't have any knowledge on software testing, so you are going to start a career newly in software testing. So this course will be very useful, and the content is also designed for especially for QA. And when I say QA, which is also includes automation testing, which is also include automation testing like Selenium and Java programming. And if you don't have any programming background, also you don't need to worry about this. So I'm just going to cover even Java programming is also. Right, so full stack here means what are the topics you are going to learn. So throughout the courses, the first thing is we need to start with the manual testing part. Okay, so we're going to start with manual testing part, because as a tester you have to know some basic concepts from manual testing, like what are the different testing concepts and testing process, agile. So these things you have to aware, so as a beginner. So this is going to be 2 to 3 weeks of time and manual testing, and every day we are going to spend some time like 1 to 1.5 hour every day, weekly 5 days. And after completion of manual testing, we are going to learn about Java programming, because if you want to go as an automation tester, we need to learn some programming concepts. So Java is required. So some basic concept from programming is required. So we are going to learn Java programming. And apart from this, again, Java also will take around 2 to 3 weeks of time. And the basic concept we are going to cover. And after that, we are starting Selenium. So Selenium is an automation tool which is available in the market, which is very popular nowadays in the market. So we are going to learn Selenium along with the Java, and these two comes under automation part. And apart from that, we are going to learn some advanced concepts in automation, like we are going to learn about Maven, and we are going to learn about Jenkins, okay, and Git, and then we are going to learn about GitHub and Docker, right? So these are the some advanced tool in automation which we are going to learn. So apart from all these tools, we are going to do two different projects. One is for manual testing project. After completion of manual testing, we are going to do some small project, because you will be aware of what are the things will go on in the manual testing part, like in project. And tomorrow if you are joined any company, right, so confidently you can work on the projects, how to analyze the requirements, how to write the test plan, how to write the test cases, how to execute, how to find the defects. So these things will be part of manual testing project. And this is one project you are going to do as part of our manual testing course. And after completion of automation, you are going to do one more project along with the frameworks. We are going to do one more project, that is your automation project, automation testing project. Okay, so these are the two projects we are going to do, guys. Okay, you guys can also put in these projects in your resume. And finally, before ending the course, I'm also going to discuss some of the FAQs and entry questions, and also I'll provide some kind of materials and PDFs and documents and everything, or assignments. Okay, so these are the contents which we are going to cover as part of this full stack QA. Okay, and I'm not calling it as a full stack automation course, guys. So full stack automation means what is it? Contains a Selenium and also API testing, mobile testing, all these things. And this is just like a full stack QA as a beginner if you want to start a career in auto testing field, especially because with only manual testing it is very difficult to survive in the industry. So you need to know automation testing. Very, very important. Okay. So this is full stack QA. If you want to start career as tester, even if you go for an automation tester, which will be very useful, right? So these are the content which we are going to cover as part of our course. Okay. All right. So now, so before jumping into curriculum, I'm going to give a few instructions, and after that we'll start. So everyday session will be 1 to 1.5 hour, guys. So once you start automation, probably will take 2 hours also sometimes. So, but minimum 1 hour to 1.5 hour. And the last 15 to 20 minutes, we can discuss our queries and issues. If you have any assignments, if you are not able to do any assignments, we are going to discuss those assignments. Or if you have any queries during the session, you can also use chat window to post your questions, or you can speak out. I can unmute you. And throughout the session you will be muted because these sessions will be recorded, because after recording you don't find any issues in the recording. So that's the reason, to avoid the disturbances, I just mute everyone. And still, if you have any queries or anything, you can post your queries in the chat window. And still, if you want to discuss anything, I can unmute at the end of the session, last 15 to 20 minutes, and you can speak out. Okay. So that's how our course will go on. And every day you will get recorded video along with the notes, and if I use any PDF files to demonstrate the topics, and you guys can get the PDF files, notes, right, along with these notepads and everything. And sometimes I will also give you some assignment work, so you guys can also do those assignments. So everything will be shared at the end of the session every day. So even if you miss any session, you guys can watch the video and again come back to the next session. And the videos will be shared permanently, guys. You guys can have lifetime. You can also download all the videos and materials and everything. Okay. And where I can share these things are Google Drive. So I'll share I'll put everything, I'll upload everything into Google Drive and in one folder. And after the session, you will get the link, Google Drive folder link, and from there you can access. And the same link you have to use every day to access all the materials and videos, everything. And I'm not going to share multiple links, so only single link you have to use every day. Okay. And later I will also tell you how we can upload your assignments and everything. So but initially you will get a Google Drive link from where you will able to access all the videos and everything. Okay. So this Google Drive is a source and where you guys can get all the videos and material. All right. So every day 1 to 1.5 hour session will be there for manual testing. And once you start automation testing, probably it will go to the 2 hours also sometimes. Okay. So this is how our sessions will go on. So if you come today's session, I'm going to start with the manual testing part, and I'll just give you some basic introduction about manual testing, and then we will proceed further. Okay. So let me share a curriculum of manual testing, and yeah, this is a curriculum of manual testing. So guys, can you see my screen? Can you please confirm in the chat window, everyone? All right, great. So this is a curriculum which I have prepared for manual testing, and I also added a few more new topics, and previously it was not there. The curriculum you guys got, and this is a new curriculum which is updated with some new topics, right? So the total manual testing is divided into 3 different modules. Okay, so listen carefully, guys. Very important. So manual testing course is completely divided into 3 different modules, or we can say 3 different phases. The first module comes under software testing concepts, so which includes 3 parts, guys. Okay, let me just write some notes also here. So in the manual testing, we are going to learn manual testing in 3 different phases. Okay, just a moment. Okay. Okay. So manual testing, we are going to learn in 3 different phases, or we can say modules. The first module, testing concepts. Your first module, we are going to learn testing concepts. So what is testing concept mean? Basically, this is all completely theoretical concept, guys. Okay. But I don't want to get you bored. So I'll interact more and I'll give practical experiences and some scenarios also. Don't worry. So testing concept, this is module 1. In this particular module, we are going to learn some very basics of testing, like what is software testing, what are the different levels of testing, what are the different types of testing we have to conduct on your application, like what is software, what are the different type of softwares are available, and SDLC, STLC, like a lot of things are there. So we are going to learn some basic concept from testing, because before going to conduct testing we have to know what kind of testings are there and how we have to conduct those testings. So that is a theoretical part. Okay, so testing concept. And if I just look at the curriculum, so the basic concept will be there, like what is software testing, types of softwares, and software quality, what is project and product, and why do we need to testing, and SDLC, STLC, lot of things are, and test design techniques. These are very, very important topics which we are going to discuss. And white box testing, black box testing, what is there, and functional and non-functional testing. So all these things we are going to discuss as part of module 1. So this is mostly theoretical part, okay, because before jumping into the practical part we have to know some basic concepts theoretically. So almost 4 to 5 sessions we are going to spend on this particular module, software testing concepts. So this is the first module, theoretical part. Okay. Then basically this module says like what to test. Okay. And the second module is a practical part. Okay. Second module is a practical part, software testing project. So here we are going to start a project along with some concepts, like how to write or how to analyze the requirements, how to write the test plan, how to write the test cases, how to execute our test cases. And we are going to learn about bug or defect life cycle, how to report the bugs. So these concepts are purely practical part. So in this module, we are going to learn project, and this is purely practical orientation. And here we are going to learn how to test. Okay, in the first module we are mainly focusing on what to test, because the theoretical part. In the second module we are going to test, like we are going to test the application directly, like how to test. So what are the different techniques are available, right? How to write the test cases, how to review the test cases. So these things will be part of module number 2, testing project. I'm going to introduce one e-commerce application, and I'll also show you the FRS document and requirement document, how we'll get the requirement from the customers, and then how to write the test cases, how to review them, how to execute bug life cycles. Everything will be part of this module, testing project. So here you will get the practical experience. Okay, so this is a module number 2, because we cannot directly jump into project, because before that we need to know some basic concept. If you know the what part, then we can jump into how part. So what to test and how to test. So second module mainly focus on how to test. And once these two modules are completed, then the module 3 is for agile process. This is purely process oriented, because in the nowadays all the companies are using agile process. Okay, and you have to know this process. Until unless you know this process, it is very difficult to survive in the company. So previously waterfall model, spiral model, there are traditional models are available, because these are process model. Because if there is any company, there should be some process followed by people, right? So here agile process, which is very, very important, and most of the companies are following agile process. So here in module 3 we are going to discuss agile process, like how we will get the requirements, how to write the stories and epics, how we can do the backlog plan or sprint plan, how the cycles will go on, so how we can interact in the project, interact within the project team, scrum. All these things we are going to discuss as part of agile process. And here itself I'm going to discuss about one important tool called Jira. So Jira is basically agile test management tool, or we can say agile tool. And in this particular application we can track everything in the software development, from the beginning, from the requirement to till we deliver the software to the customer. Everything we can track into this particular tool, even testers, developer, each and every activity, like test cases, test plans, execution status, reports, everything we can manage in this tool. Okay, and previously before these tools are available in the market, people are using like Excel sheets and Word documents. Instead of that, we can track everything in the tools. Okay, so this is agile process we are going to discuss, which is Jira tool. There are a lot of concepts are there, guys, so I'm not writing in detail because I already have the curriculum here. So I share this curriculum later, you guys can go through the topics. Okay, so these are the 3 different modules which we are going to cover as part of manual testing. So with this Jira tool, we will able to complete manual testing. Okay. And apart from that, in addition, I'm also going to share you the SQL videos, because SQL is not part of our course, because SQL itself will take 10 to 15 sessions. So I'm going to provide the video sessions or recorded video sessions apart from this manual testing course. Okay, you guys can go to the SQL videos, and that is also very important for testing perspective. Because okay, so if you go for an interview, people will ask you some questions on from SQL also along with the manual testing. So that is also very very important, right? So that will be going to share after completion of manual testing, right? So this is a part of manual testing curriculum, and once you completed manual testing, then I'll share automation testing and everything. Okay, that is a different curriculum we are going to learn. All right, so for today's session I'm going to start with the module 1. So are you guys clear so far, everyone, about this curriculum? Can you please confirm in the chat window? So if you ask any questions, guys, so please interact in the chat window immediately, and every time I'll ask the confirmation from you guys, so please put in the chat window. Okay, all right. So let us start with a few some basic concept from manual testing. Okay, so today is introduction session, so I'm just going to cover some basics like what is software, what is software testing, and why do we need to software testing, all these things. Okay, so first let us start with what is software and what are the different type of software. So people who are completely beginners, okay, and they don't have any IT background, I'm going to start from very very basic, guys, from the scratch, and you don't need to worry about anything. If you just know how to use MS Word document, Excel sheet, that knowledge is enough, and basic internet knowledge is enough to start learning this concept. Okay, so you don't need to worry and afraid of anything. I'll go from very basic. If you have not understood anything, please use chat window to post your questions. Okay, all right, so this is a small presentation I have, so later I'll share this presentation. Okay, first let us see the concepts. And one more thing is, for every concept, guys, after explanation at the end of the session, I will also share the presentation as well as notes and materials, and don't worry, so you guys can go to them. All right, so first let us start with what is software, like what is the types of software. So everywhere we heard this term software. What is software? Software, simple definition, everyone know about software, but if I ask the definition, most of the people cannot answer this question. Software, everybody knows the software. We are daily every day we are using softwares in mobiles or computers, everywhere we are using software. But what exactly software means? So if you say definition of the software is a collection of computer programs, that helps us to perform a task. Suppose if you want to perform some task, guys, suppose if you want to do some manual task, right? So through the machine I want to do the task, so that machine needs some software. Okay, so for example, if I take a mobiles, right? So if you have only mobile, right, we cannot do anything with mobile. In that mobile there should be some apps or some software should run, and with that software we are doing all the things, right? Suppose if I take some WhatsApp or LinkedIn, whatever apps you have in the mobile, if I don't have those apps, can you use your mobile? No, right? So you need to have some software in that, and then only we can use a mobile. Similarly, software is a collection of computer programs. How the software will be developed, which is basically a collection of programs, and the developers will write n number of programs, and collectively we can call as a software. So what is a program? Program is something called as a coding. Like they will write some instructions to the computer, so the instructions can be understandable by the computer, and collectively we can call it as a software. A software is a collection of computer programs that help us to perform a task. If you want to perform some task, we can use a software. Okay, simple definition. But in the market, there are different type of softwares are available. There are different types of softwares are available. So mainly there are three categories. One is system software. Okay, let me just write some notes here. Okay, so types of software: system software, and programming software, and application software. So these are the three different types of softwares are available. Three different types of softwares are available. One is system software. I'll tell you what is system software. Second one is a programming software, and third one is a application software. System software, programming software, then application software. So what is system software means? Normally device drivers, operating systems, servers, utilities, these are all comes under system software. What does it mean? Suppose you have your desktop or laptop, okay? and you are connecting all the accessories to your computer. You are connecting keyboard, you are connecting mouse, right? You are connecting some other screens or there, or you are connecting printer to your computer, right? So these are different accessories or devices are connecting to your computer. But if we want to use those devices, we need to install some additional drivers, or sometimes your computer also will come along with the drivers, and those drivers also comes under the system software. And basically these softwares are used to run the systems. Okay, suppose if you connect suppose if you have connected your keyboard to the computer, how your computer will able to identify your keyboard? The instructions are coming from keyboard, it doesn't know basically, right? So there should be some software. The computer should have some intelligence to identify your keyboard, to identify your mouse, to identify your monitor and everything. So that is basically comes under the system software. So device drivers. And operating system. Operating system is what? Windows, Linux, Mac. So these are all operating systems. So you have a computer, but if you don't have any operating systems, how can we use or how can you install other softwares without using operating system? Because first, as soon as you start your computer, operating system must be there. So on top of operating system, we are going to install other softwares, right? That is the base. Once you have computer, you need to install some operating system. It can be anything. So that is also comes under the system software, because if you want to run or start system, we need some operating system. So that's the reason which is comes under system software. And server, some utilities files, or some utilities means, suppose if you write something, right? If you write some text or if I write some document, internally the computer software is able to recognize it. So to run special software, we need to also have some utilities. So these are all comes under system software, device drivers, operating systems, servers, utilities. All these things are comes under system. So basically the system software will be used to run the systems. Okay. That is a one category of softwares. And the second category is a programming software. So what is programming software means? Compilers, debuggers, interpreters. So these are all examples of programming software. That means suppose developers are writing the code or some program, how program will be executed, how the program will be produce some output. Suppose when I use a computer, we are giving some input to the computer, we are getting some output. So who is processing internally? When I give some input to the computer, someone should be there to process that input and produce the output. And that thing will be done by the compilers, debuggers, interpreters. So these are the softwares which will do some processes when you run your program. Normally developers work with these programming software. So whatever the programs they have run to execute the programs and providing the output, the compilers, debuggers, interpreters will be used internally. So that is comes under the programming software. And the last one is application software. So this is a very, very important area where we have to focus on application software. So application software is nothing but the users will use that applications or users will use that software. For example, web applications. So every day we are using web applications. In case of Facebook or LinkedIn or Amazon or online portals, everything is comes under web applications. And mobile apps, suppose you are using mobile, right? You have n number of apps in your mobile, all those things are comes under application software. And desktop applications, so desktop application means what? You can install those applications in your laptop or your computer, like MS Word document, Excel, Outlook, Notepad, calculator. So these are all comes under desktop applications. So basically there are three kinds of applications, application softwares. One is web applications, mobile applications, desktop applications. These are the three categories. So web applications, if you want to work web applications, we need to have an internet. Okay, because through internet we can access those applications. And actual applications will be installed somewhere in the remote servers. And mobile apps, so everybody will know about this. So from the Play Store, we can download and install mobile apps and we can use it. They are all comes under application software. And desktop applications means the applications which we can install on your local machine. Even without internet also we can use desktop applications. So like I'm using Notepad to typing something. This is a desktop application. So calculator is a desktop application. Your paint is a desktop application. So all these comes under desktop applications. So these are all comes under application software, because as a user, I can use these applications, I can use this software, but I cannot directly use programming software and system software, because these are the internal softwares which we cannot see them. But these softwares are used to run your systems. But application software we have to use on daily usage, and we can do some tasks by using these application softwares. Okay, suppose if you go for amazon.com, so that is an online application, that is a software. What we can do, we can search for the product, we can add to cart, and we can do the payment. So these are our activities we can do. Similarly, banking applications, financial applications, all right, so educational institution applications, so all these comes under web applications, mobile apps, desktop applications. So every day on day-to-day basis we are working with these applications. So these are all comes under application software. Our testing is also mainly focused on application software. We are going to test the application softwares. Okay, so this is basically understanding, the basic understanding of what is software, the types of software. Okay, so the next thing is, what is software testing? So we understood what is software testing, software types of software testing. Now we need to understand what is software testing. Okay, so next one, what is software testing? We already know what is software. Now we need to understand what is software testing, and then why the software testing is required. So this is one of the important interview question also. Like, what is a software testing? So normally, when you purchase any product, right? So what you will do? You will do some basic functionalities working or not. So let me just give you one example. Suppose you want to buy a mobile. Okay. So before buying a mobile, you will have some budget. Okay. And with that budget, within that budget, you are expecting some features to be there in your mobile. Okay, you have some budget and you are expecting some features, some functionality should be there in your mobile, and with that input you are searching for different brands in a market, and finally you search some brand and some model, and you bought it. Okay, and you spend some budget, and also you're expecting something should be there in your mobile, and once you bought your phone, you started using your mobile, and then you are started finding some bugs or issues in your mobile. So something is not working, or on or off is not properly working, right? Our screen is not properly appearing, some apps are strucking. So if you find these kind of issues in your mobile, how you will feel? Definitely you will start frustrating with that product, right? So why this thing is happened? Because of in lacking of testing. Because you bought a mobile, you bought a product, but this is buggy product, so you have some issues with that product. Why these issues are there in the product? Because testing is not properly conducted, right? Each and every function, each and every feature is properly working or not, it is not properly tested. So that is the reason you start frustrating with that product, right? Same thing will happen with the software also. Same thing will happen with the software also. But who is using software? So for example, let us say some bank. Okay, so let's say I have something called X bank. So this bank is doing some transaction on day-to-day basis manually, and after a few days this particular bank wanted to automate the process. This particular bank wanted to automate the process. Means what? Whatever the transactions they are doing manually, they want a software, and using that software they wanted to do those tasks, okay, through the software. And what this bank, so bank is nothing but what? This is a small company. Okay, and this particular company or bank will approach an IT company. Okay, will approach an IT company, and once they approach this IT company, they will explain their requirement. So what they exactly they do in their organization, so what kind of operations or actions or tasks they do on day-to-day basis in their organization. So they will explain the entire the process, the requirement, everything into this IT company. Along with that, the budget, what is the budget they have, and within what time they need the software. So all these things will be explained to this IT company. Now what IT company will do is, IT company will review and understand their requirement, and their budget and time. So by considering them, they will agree to develop the software which will fulfill their tasks. Okay, instead of doing manual transaction, they can do automate using particular software. And so after reviewing those requirements by IT company, they agree to develop a software. Okay, and what IT company will do now? IT company will develop the software, and it also to be tested. Okay, test the software, and after testing, then deliver the software to the company called X Bank. So this is actual process. So some company will approach the IT company by saying all their requirement, budget and time, and based on that IT company will agree the requirement, agree the proposal, and then they start developing the software. And they will recruit some number of people, developers, testers, designers, program managers, all these people, and they take some time to develop the software. And then finally, before delivering the software to the bank, we have to conduct the testing here. So after development, testing comes into picture. So why we need to do the testing? What is testing here? Why we are conducting testing here? Because we have to release the quality product to the customer. We have to deliver the quality product to the customer. So that is the main intention of doing software testing. Okay, so software testing will play very important role, because if you deliver the buggy product to the customer, he'll start frustrating it because he spent a lot of budget, a lot of time, right? So this is our responsibility, the company responsibility, to provide the quality product to the customer. It should not have any bugs. It should work according to customer requirement. So all these things we have to take care while performing the testing the software. Okay, so what is software testing? So software testing is very important before delivering the software to the customer. Okay, now what is software testing? The software testing is a part of software development. Here development means what? Not only writing the code. Okay, we have to test the software whether it is working according to customer requirement or not. If you are not conducting testing, what happens? Definitely the product is having some bugs, because there is not there is no guarantee like developers will do everything perfectly fine, right? There should be some bugs, there will be some gaps. So we have to test the software, we need to identify the bugs, and the developers again will fix those bugs, and finally we will deliver the quality product to the customer. Okay, so the testing is a part of the development process. We'll understand the customer requirement, we will design it, then coding, then testing, and finally delivering the software to the customer. So these things will come into picture. So now if I just look at what is software testing, let me write some notes here. So what is software? We understood what is software. Now we are understanding what is software testing. So software testing is a part of software development process. Software testing is an activity to detect and identify the defects in the software. So this is the main intention of the tester. What is the job of tester? Means he has to identify the defects, and he has to make sure our application or software is working according to customer requirement or not. Because initially customer will provide you some requirement, the functionality, and our software also should perform the same thing, whatever the customer is expecting. Suppose the customer is said something and we develop the software for something else, it doesn't work, right? So the main intention of software testing is, it is a activity to detect and identifying the defects. We have to execute some test cases. I'll tell you what is the test case and how to execute all these things. So the main intention of software testing is we have to find the defects in the software. Okay, and the main objective is to release the quality product to the client or customer. So this is a basically what is software testing. So testing is a part of software development. Testing is an activity to find the defects in the software. The main objective of testing is to release a quality product to the customer or client. So this is all about what is software testing. The next one is what is quality. So here we are talking about the quality. What is quality? We are every day we are talking about quality. If I buy something, we are always expecting the quality, right? But what exactly quality means? The main objective of testing is to release quality product to the client. But what is quality? So what is quality? So quality is something called like customer justification. So how well our product or software is working, the customer will decide. Okay. So here there are some parameter. Based on that we can say whether our software is quality or not, quality software or not. So what are those parameters? Let me just tell you. So software quality. So these are all very important, guys. So beginner, as a beginner, so please try to understand this. Very simple terms. Software quality. So why we are discussing software quality? Because our ultimate goal of testing is to deliver the software quality product to the customer or client. But what is software quality? So software quality, if I say a product or software is very quality product, I can say based on certain parameters. Okay. So what are those parameters? So the first parameter is bug free. So based on these parameters, we can say our software is quality software or not. The first parameter is bug free. What is meant by bug free? So our software should not have any bugs. But 100% softwares, 100% softwares will not be bug free, guys. But at least 1 or 2% there will be bugs, but they are very very minor bugs. The customer process or task will not impacted by those bugs. But 100% quality product cannot be always possible to release a to the release to the customer. Okay, it is not at all possible. At least 1 or 2% bugs will be there, but they are very minor bugs. We can ignore those bugs. Okay. And the final thing, the objective of testing is to release the quality product to the client. But what is a software quality? So software quality can be measured. So later I'll tell you what are the metrics we have to use. But mainly we can say software is quality based on certain parameters. So the first parameter will be the bug free. The software should not contains any bugs. That's the first thing. Second thing, delivered on time. So I said before, when a IT company is approaching the IT company, so some X company is approaching the IT company, they have some budget and they have some time also. Within that time, we have to develop and test the software and we have to deliver the software to the company, right? And they spend some budget and also time. Suppose what happens, suppose development and testing is taken more than the committed time, then what happens? We have to pay to the staff also, right? We have to spend a lot of time, right? So what happens if you are not able to deliver the software within the time or on time? That is also considerable because the customer has to spend more budget, because automatically time is increased, like duration is increased, automatically you have to spend money on the staff also, right? Employees like developers, testers, whoever is working on that project, we have to pay to them, right? If suppose time is increased. So delivered on time. So not only bug free, we should also deliver the software on time. That is one parameter. The third parameter is within the budget. Sometimes some organization will have some budget, and once you start developing and testing, the budget will be increased. That should not be happen. So whatever the time and budget they have mentioned initially, we have to deliver the software within that particular time and within that particular budget, and then only the customer will say our product or our software is quality. And not only bug free, and it is also depends on other factors. And it should be delivered on time and it should be within the budget. And finally, it should meet the requirements or expectation from the customer. Okay, so whatever software we develop, that should fulfill the requirement of customer. So that's the first and most important task. Customer set some requirement and we have developed and tested software, it should work according to their requirement. So this is very very important. It should meet the requirements or expectations from the customer. And finally, it should be maintainable. Maintainable means what? After installing our software in the customer environment, they should able to work with that. And if there is any small issues, they should able to resolve themselves, and it should be user friendly. Okay, in that case we can say it is a maintainable. So when I deliver a software to the customer, if our software is fulfilling all these parameters, we can say which is a quality product or which is a quality software. And to make sure all these things should be there, we have to conduct our testing. So the main intention of testing is to deliver the quality product to the customer. And when we say our product or software is a quality, having some quality means which we have to follow these parameters. It should be, it doesn't have any bugs. You can say bug free, and it should be delivered on time. It should be delivered within the budget, and it should also meets customer requirements, or it should work according to the customer requirements or expectation. And finally it should be maintainable in their environment. Okay, so these are the main quality standards. So if I say software is a quality software, then we have to follow these parameters. Okay, now here I'm just using some terms continuous like project and product, and these terms are very very important, we need to understand as a beginner. So what is project and product? Project and product, so people are sometimes using project, sometimes they say product. What is project and product? And even in the companies also there are two kinds of companies, like service based companies, product based companies. Similarly we have a project and products. So what exactly project means, what exactly product means? There is a small difference between project and product. So you have to understand this terminology, which is very important before going to testing part. Okay, let me tell you what is project and product. Project and product. Okay, so let me write some notes here. Very small difference, guys. The first one is a if software application, so whatever software we developed and tested, which is for specific customer based on the requirement, then it is called as a project. Means what? We approach a customer, customer will give you specific customer, and customer will give you the requirement. Customer will spend some budget, they will give the requirement, and we will develop the software according to that particular customer. So whatever software we developed and tested according to the specific customer requirement, we can simply say that is a project. Project means what? The application or a software which is developed for specific customer requirement, and that software will be used by the customer himself. Others cannot be used. Okay, suppose I develop a software for an organization, and only that organization can be used that software, and other organizations cannot be used, and those things called as a project. A project is a software application which is developed for specific customer based on the requirement, then it is called project. Okay, if the software application is developed for specific customer based on the requirement, based on the customer requirement, then it is called as a project, and only the specific customer can use this. But what is a product means? If the software application is developed for multiple customers based on market requirement, then it is called as a product. That means what? We will collect the requirements from the market, not from the specific customer. Okay, what is exactly market requirements? We will analyze them, and we will develop a software, then we'll deliver it to the market, and number of people, number of customers are using that software, in that case which is called as a product. A product is a software which can be used by multiple customers. Project is a software which can be used by specific customer. Okay, project is a software which can be used by specific customer, we are developing it for specific customer requirement. Whereas product is a software which we can develop for market or based on market requirements. So what are the examples? For example, there is a bank. Okay, and I have developed a software which can do all the transactions automated in that particular bank. So that is project, because that application or software can be used only within that bank, within that particular organization, others cannot be used. So they are called projects. And what is a product means? Everyone should able to do that. So for example, in our mobile there are so many apps will be there. Let's say WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is an application, a software application, and everybody using it. So that is an example of product. And suppose our Microsoft products, Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So these are all the softwares and everybody using them. And how they develop those softwares based on the customer requirement. And they'll analyze the requirement from the market, from the people, and they will consolidate all the requirements. Accordingly, they develop the software. And that is comes under the product. So understand this difference, very, very important. The project and the product. So project is something which is developed for specific customer based on their requirement, and the product is a software which is developed based on the market requirements and everybody can use it. Okay, that is a product. Now similarly, the companies, also two types of companies will be there, like service based companies and product based companies. Service based companies are what? They will, most of the times they will deal with the projects. So they will work for specific customers, they will work for specific clients, and those companies are comes under service based companies like TCS, Accenture. Okay, so these companies are comes under the service based companies, or Infosys. These are all service based companies, and they will work for n number of customers throughout the world. And product based companies, the other type of companies are we have product means what? A software which is developed based on the market requirements. So for example, Google. So Google is a product based companies. There are so many Google products are there, like Google Maps, Google Drive, Gmail. These are all Google products. And Microsoft is also product based company. So they will develop the multiple products, all Microsoft products like MS Word, MS Office. These are all examples of Microsoft products. And Oracle is also product based company. Okay, so there are different type of companies like service based companies and product based companies. Okay, so that is all about project and product. Okay, and finally, why we need testing. We understood what is project and product and why we need to testing. So this we already covered. Why do we need testing? The ultimate goal is to release the quality product to the customer. So that's the reason we have to conduct our testing, and we have to ensure the software should be bug free and it should meet the customer requirements, right? And also it should work according to the customer expectation. So these are the main things which you have to ensure while conducting the testing. So without testing, what will happen if I don't conduct any testing? Then what happens? Definitely the software contains the bugs, and once the customer started using the software, definitely they'll frustrated with that. Okay, so that's the reason we have to conduct our testing. So we have to ensure the software doesn't have any bugs, and we have to ensure our software is working according to customer requirement or not. So these are the two main things which we need to focus while conducting the software testing. So why do we need testing? Means we have to deliver the quality product to the customer. So that's the main intention. Okay, so finally I'll just explain about these terms: error, bug, and failure. So a lot of people exactly don't know the difference between these three, and which is very important to know that. Error, bug, and failure. Most of the people will think bug is nothing but some error or some failure, but there is a small technical difference is there: error, bug, and failure. Now let me tell you what exactly error means, what exactly bug means, and failure means. Error is nothing but a human mistake. If you do some task, right, if you do some mistake somewhere, that is basically called as an error. Okay, it is an incorrect human action. We can simply say an incorrect human action is called as an error. So suppose as a developer, he is writing some program, and he has committed some, he by mistake he has typed something else, and that is causing the error. So error is basically human mistake. Okay, and bug, what is the bug? Bug is nothing but it is a deviation of expecting actual results. So for example, there is a simple, let's say, login screen in your application, right? So when I provide a valid username and valid password, I should able to log into my application. Let's say Gmail application. So how to log into Gmail? I have to provide the valid username and valid password. So when I provide valid username and valid password, then I should able to successfully log in. But and similarly, if I want to pass, let's say if I pass invalid username and invalid password, I should not able to log in. But what happening, even though if I providing invalid username and password, and application is allowing me to log in, then that is a mismatch, right? What you are expecting, if I pass a valid data, the login should be successful. When I pass invalid data, login should not be successful. That is your expectation. But how actually application is working? If I pass valid data, okay, it is successfully login. But even if you pass invalid data, still it is accepting the login. So that is a mismatch. What is our expectation and how the application is working? So the deviation from expected behavior and actual behavior is basically called as a bug, and which is also called as a defect. The terminologies are different, guys. The concept is same. Okay. So error is a human mistake. Bug and defect is something different. So this is related to application. Something is not working in your application according to your expectation or your requirement or customer requirement, which is basically called as a bug or defect. Okay. And the third thing is a failure. What is failure? Suppose we develop some software, we have tested and everything is working fine, and finally what we will do, we will deliver the software to the customer, and we have installed the software in the customer environment, and they started using the software, and after a few days, then what happens, there is something which is not working in the software. Okay. And something basically got failed. Okay. So whatever the customer wanted to do, some transaction that is got failed. So this is basically end user action. Okay. So the deviation identified by end user while using the software, the deviation identified by the end user while working with the software is called as a failure. Again, I'm repeating, error is a human mistake. Okay. While writing the program, developer will do a lot of mistakes. All these comes under the errors. And while testing the software, we are checking the functionality of our application, whether it is working according to customer requirement or not. If something is not working according to customer requirement, which is comes under the bug or defect. And after releasing the product to the customer, and the customer is using the software, or as a user, I'm working with the software in the real environment, where I found some bugs, where I found some mismatch, where I found something is not working, that is comes under the failure. And error normally committed by the developers. Bugs and defects will be identified by the testers at the time of testing phase, and failures will be there in the production environment. Production means in the sense customer environment, and where if the customer is identified something or which is not working properly, that we can call it as a failure. Okay. So the basic difference between error, bug or defect or failure. Okay, just understand these terminologies, which is very, very important. Okay, so most frequently I use these terms, so bug or defect. Both are same, but error is a different, failure is a different. Okay, so these are all some basics, guys. So why the software has bugs? Let me discuss one more point. So why the software has bugs? So far we are discussing like why, what is software testing, and why we need to conduct the testing, right? But why the software has bugs? So when I develop some software, it contains some bugs, but why we should have bugs? There are a lot of reasons are there. Why the software is having bugs? There are a lot of reasons. The mainly five reasons, guys. There are mainly five reasons we can say. Why the software has bugs? So why the software has bugs? So mainly five reasons. The first reason is miscommunication or no communication. Means what? There is no proper communication between the developers and testers. Means what? Developer will develop something and tester will expecting something else, or requirement is having some functionality and developer is implemented or developed some other thing, some other functionality, and tester is expecting something. So there will be gap between the documentation, development and testing. So that is basically comes under the miscommunication or no communication. So that is causing the software bugs. So the requirement should be very, very clear. And accordingly, the developer should develop the software, and accordingly, the tester also should test the software. Everybody should be in the proper sync, and then only we can deliver the quality product to the customer. If there is any miscommunication, suppose developer is developed something and which is not communicated with the testing team, then what happens? Tester will think in different way, and they do their testing their own way. And tester also needs some developers input. Even developers also need some input from the testing. Okay, so everybody in the team should communicate properly, and that can avoid the bugs in our software. That is one major reason. And the second reason is the complexity of the software. Suppose the software is very complex, it is almost 3 4 5 years project, and so many people are working, like n number of developers, n number of testers, automation people, so much complexities, and n number of modules are there, sub modules are there. In that case also we can miss some bugs. Okay, like integration testing, unit testing, there are a lot of testings we will conduct, and somewhere we may miss something else. So that is again causing the bugs in later stages. So suppose in some cases, in sometimes, even if the software is very complex, there are some chances we have some bugs in our software. And the third reason is programming errors. And most of the times programming errors, in the sense, it is a responsibility of the developers. So developers will write the program, but the program is working fine, but whatever output is producing is not correct. That comes under the programming error. So for example, developer has written a program to add two numbers. Let us say some example what is programming error. So developer is written some program, and when I pass two inputs, let's say I have passed two numbers, let's say 2 comma 3, and what is the output I'm expecting? 2 plus 3, 5 I'm expecting. Okay, and this way the program is written the code. But when I run the program, what happens? When I pass this input, which is giving the output, but something else, let us say it is giving something called 10. The program is running perfectly fine, but whatever the output I am getting from the program is incorrect. So why this is gone? Why we are getting this incorrect error? Because of programming error. So the developers will take care of this programming errors. Okay, so that is one thing. And the next one is a frequently changing requirements. This is a major cause. So sometimes what happens is, like initially the customer will give you few number of requirements. Okay, and okay, we have started, we have understood all the requirement, we have started development, and in the middle of the development, sometime again customer come back and change their requirement. But initially they said something, after some time, after developing or during the testing phase, they'll come back and ask us to change some requirement, and that is also causing the bugs. And sometimes it may possible or it may not be possible to change the application according to their requirement. So even if the customer requirements are frequently changing, that is also sometimes causing the bugs. And the last reason, lack of skilled testers. If the tester doesn't have proper skill set, definitely he will miss the bugs. So if the tester is not identified the bugs, then what happens? That will go to the next level, and that will come again in the production. The customer will face that bug. Okay, so that is a problem. So the tester should have proper skill set. That is very, very important. And a tester should have a different mindset, guys. So especially for tester, we need to always think about in the negative way. So normally people are saying positive way we need to think, but here in the testing point of view, always we have to think like we have to break the application. Somewhere we need to find the application. If you want to find the application, if you want to find some bug, then what you have to do, we have to provide some invalid data. Okay, we have to do some unwanted stuff in our application. So then whether we are while we are providing the some data to the application, how it is behaving, whether it is behaving according to customer requirement or not. So that we need to test. So always our focus should be on breaking the application. Okay, so if everything is working fine, there is no job for tester. We have to break our application with our skill set. So that is exactly software tester job. Okay, so for that we need to have proper skill set. Very, very important. Okay, so why is the software having bugs? Mixed communication or no communication, and because of software complexity, and sometimes programming errors also causing the bugs. And if the requirements also keep on changing very frequently, that is also causing the bugs. And finally, lack of skilled testers. If the testers doesn't have proper skills, then definitely he will miss the bugs, and those bugs will be faced by the customers, and he will start frustrating by seeing those bugs in the production environment. Okay, so these are all very very important things before starting the testing. And then we have something called SDLC, STLC, and so on. So we will discuss these things in the next session. Okay, so these are the basics, guys. Like we have understood what is software, types of softwares, and what is software testing, what is software quality, and what are the parameters of software quality and project and product, and why do we need software testing. And we also understood the difference between error, bug, and failure. And finally, we have understood why the software has bugs. Okay, so in the next session we are going to discuss rest of the topics. And I'm just stopping here for today, guys. Now if you have any queries, you guys can post in your chat window, or you guys can ask me. Okay, and rest of the things will continue on tomorrow's session. Just a moment.